Are you struggling to implement custom copying logic in your Python class? It can be tricky, but don't worry. Today we're going to break it down step by step. I totally get it. It can be frustrating when you want to create a copy of your complex data structures without triggering unnecessary initialization. You're definitely not alone in this challenge. Let's dive into the specific question at hand. One user asked, is calling CLS new CLS the right approach for a copy implementation that wants to skip init for the copy? This is a great question and one that many Python developers face. To understand this better, we need to look at how Python's copying mechanism works. The copy method is designed to create a shallow copy of an object, while deep copy is for creating a deep copy. But skipping init can be a bit tricky. Stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of how to implement custom copying logic in your Python classes, and I promise you'll feel more confident in your coding skills. To implement custom copying logic in a Python class, the user should start by defining the copy method. This method will create a new instance of the class without calling the init method. Inside the copy method, the user can use CLS new CLS to create a new instance. This approach is correct and allows the user to skip the init method, which is essential for their custom copying logic. Next, the user should implement the custom copying logic. This logic will populate the new instance with the necessary attributes and data from the original instance. For deep copying, the user will need to define the deep copy method. This method should also create a new instance using the same approach and handle nested objects appropriately. Finally, the user should test both the copy and deep copy methods to ensure they work as expected. This can be done by creating instances of the class and checking the copied objects. Fun fact: did you know that Python's copy module was introduced in version 2.0? It's been helping developers manage object copying for over 2 decades. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative approach involves using a flag to control setup behavior in the class. The user defines a custom dict class that inherits from dict and mapping. They introduce a flag called runSetup to determine whether to execute setup logic in the init method. In the copy method, the user sets runSetup to false before creating a new instance of custom dict. This allows them to skip the setup logic when copying. They use try and finally blocks to ensure that runSetup is reset to true after the operation. Here's a tip: always test your copy and deep copy methods thoroughly. Edge cases can lead to unexpected behavior, so it's better to be safe than sorry. And that's it. You've learned how to implement custom copying logic in your Python class. Keep experimenting with your code, and don't hesitate to reach out if you have more questions. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more programming tips.